343 have just recently posted the Season 5 customization blog post, so in today's video I'm going to be going over all the information that they've provided, some of which I have spoken about already, but there is a lot of new info here, including how we get the Mark 5 armor kit. Anyway, without wasting any more of your time, let's jump straight in. Now straight away at the beginning of the blog post, we see a lineup of different Spartans making use of some of the new cosmetics that will be releasing across this season. We see a few Spartans making use of the new Flood cosmetics, some more of the Mark 5B armor, we see the Rakshasa armor from Combined Arms and the Santa set, and right at the front we do see one of the new Flood armor kits alongside the Mark 5 armor kit, which looks absolutely gorgeous. The blog then goes on to talk about some of the Flood cosmetics in a little bit more detail and how they're obviously things we can earn, some of which are in the battle pass and some are in the store. We have a few images here that show off some of this Flood armor, however these images aren't new, we have seen these before. We then get our battle pass overview image, and I have spoken about the battle pass already, but of course you do get an instant premium unlock, which is the Defiled Bulldog weapon kit. Now I actually didn't realise that this was a kit, so I'm very curious to see how that'll work. Of course we should still be able to apply our own weapon coatings, and I'd assume you can still place emblems and whatnot on, but I don't know if you're going to be able to apply a weapon model. I wouldn't expect that to be the case because, to be fair, I just thought this was its own weapon model anyway, but we'll soon find out. Of course, you do still earn 1,000 credits in the Battle Pass despite it being 50 tiers shorter. And of course, there is still a very similar, if not the same amount of cosmetics across the Battle Pass. Interestingly, the image of EOD it shows here is actually different to the version of EOD we get in the Battle Pass. The version we get in the Battle Pass automatically has the CBRN attachment applied to it. I actually think the version of EOD here is the TV show version used by Vanik, which I know it's almost exactly the same, but this one might be a store version of EOD. I could be wrong though. But yeah, you still get 1,000 credits, you just earn 200 credits every time you unlock credits. There is only like 4 helmets in this battle pass, which is a little disappointing. Granted, some of those helmets do come with attachments that drastically change how they look, but other than that, almost all of the armor is for the Mark 5B core. I say almost because coatings and helmets will of course be cross-core, so they can apply to anything, but as far as shoulder pads, chest attachments and that sort of thing go, everything's for the Mark 5B. It's cool to see this core get fleshed out more, I definitely appreciate that, but at the same time, as someone who is an avid enjoyer of the Mark 7, a little bit disappointed in that regard. But of course, we do have 2 upcoming events, the first of which being Combined Arms, which starts on November 14th, and this will give us this really cool set of armor for Rakshasa, so it's cool to see Rakshasa get some love. I hope that means those unreleased shoulder pads from Season 2 might finally release, but the new set here looks absolutely phenomenal. That'll be 20 tiers and of course be completely free, and also events will work differently now, they're no longer challenge based, they're based on your match XP, so I think each event is almost going to be like a continuation of the battle pass, which is kind of cool. And then the second event, Winter Contingency 3, starts on December 19th, which is actually straight after when Combined Arms ends, and it will last until January 30th. And this one you get this really cool Santa armor set for the Mark 7, and you'll probably get various other things too. The next part goes on to talk about what we earn for hero rank. We already knew about the Mark 6 armor kit, but we also get the hero emblem set, which I do think might just be the 117. But you also get the campaign season armor coating for all armor cores and the midway emerald armor coating for all armor cores. It doesn't attach images for these coatings, but I assume one of them probably will just be the coating that Chief technically has applied in the campaign. This is a kit of course, but now you can change the coating, the visor, the armor effect and apply emblems to it, and it still looks absolutely amazing. I might have to actually grind for hero rank now because I do really want this set of armor. The next part is what most of you have probably been waiting for, and that is how to get the Mark 5 armor kit. It will be releasing on November 7th, a week before the Combined Arms event, which lines up very nicely to the anniversary of not just Infinite, but the Halo franchise as a whole. It mentions that the kit will be a store item. It doesn't say whether or not it's free. I was really hoping it was going to be like that kill effect we had last year for last year's anniversary. We got a free kill effect, and obviously the year before that we got the Platinum Anniversary coating set. And I should reiterate, there is still a chance that it could be free. The article doesn't really specify. But of course, if it is a kit that I have to pay for and I can't use the pieces from that kit on my own Spartans, I'll be very disappointed. I'll still probably pay for it regardless though. Still a smidge disappointed that it's just a kit, but I am absolutely in love with how this looks and how faithfully it's been recreated, and I can't wait to claim this on November 7th. I would really like to use this version of the Mark 5 helmet on my Mark 5B, or use that version of the Mark 6 helmet on my own Mark 7 Spartan, and the fact that I can't is a little bit disappointing, especially if this is a kit that we are charged for, and you can't use all of those pieces on your own Spartan. That will be really, really disappointing. I feel like this itself could have been its own core. We could have had a whole battle pass centered around the Mark 5, but alas, let's move on. The next part of the blog talks about cross-core helmets. We have already spoken about this, it was shown in the trailer, but here is a nice little image showing every single default helmet on the Mark 7 core. So of course, this isn't a feature you have to pay for, this will be free for everyone. So even if you're a new player, if you start playing Infinite for the very first time during Season 5, you will immediately have all 8 armor cores and 8 helmets to use across every single one of those armor cores. And that's not including other free helmets that players might have already unlocked, or helmets that you've paid for or anything else. I have a total of 78 helmets across all of my different armor cores, which I can now use freely on any piece of armor that I want. It's not full cross-core, but this is definitely a step in the right direction, and arguably, in my opinion, the most important step. And I really can't wait to see how I make some of my Spartans look and how the community makes some of their Spartans look with this new feature. All new coatings will also be cross-core. However, as for old coatings, it does seem like that might be something that doesn't happen, or at least isn't happening yet. But speaking of cross-core coatings, the next part of the blog talks about ultimate rewards, and it mentions now you won't need to unlock coatings separately, of course. So when there is an ultimate reward armor coating, that will be unlocked for every core. Same with weapon coatings. They do also mention emblems, which seems like we might end up with ultimate reward emblems again this season, which I don't really care for. But that's just me. Some people might think differently and actually be excited about that. And then we do get our first look at one of the first ultimate rewards we get in this season, which is a decent armor coating, I guess. Bit too basic for my liking, probably not one that I'll use. However, I do see myself unlocking it because, you know, it'll be new and I'll want the XP for my battle pass. And then the next part of the blog talks about the shop and some of the cosmetics we'll see, including our first super bundle, which comes with a bunch of different flood cosmetics, including some weapon models for the S7 and the rocket launcher. We'll also get a flood infected EVA, and I believe the other one is another version of the default Mark 5B helmet. Overall, these are some very, very cool looking flood cosmetic pieces. And the super bundle purchase bonus is a flood kill effect and a flood armor effect. It's a little flood tentacle mohawk. Of course, we already have mentioned it, not all of the flood armor is going to be in the store. There is some in the battle pass, and the pieces you get in the battle pass actually look really nice. In a gross, ugly kind of way. And with that, that concludes the article. It doesn't mention whether or not we'll have any new default cadet coatings, however, neither did the article last season. So maybe we will finally get like a cadet white coating that people have been asking for many, many months now. I'm super excited for cross-core helmets, and overall it seems like the customization is getting a massive improvement. A lot of the new armor pieces look phenomenal. And although I do still have my disappointments with the new battle pass, I think those operations are really going to flesh that out. And of course, if you do miss out on the events, you can still pay for the cosmetics afterwards. The battle pass is of course permanent too, so that's there to purchase at any time, and the first 20 tiers are free up until that first operation releases on November. Anyway, that sums up everything today, folks. Let me know your thoughts on this whole blog post and the new stuff coming to Halo Infinite Season 5 down in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.